How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massive Beer Reviews. Back a little bit of Hop Butcher up in this piece. A little collab action, actually. And this is their Welcome to Gardesville. Yeah, this be a Spalter Select Hopped Wallonian Oktoberfest Lager. Okay. No idea what that Wallonian is. New. You learn something new every day. 6% alcohol by volume. This is a collab with Iswas Brewing. I believe this is the second Iswas collab I've had from these guys. And they talk about tasting notes in the back with a crisp cracker, garden herbs, and peanut shell. Yeah. This was canned 5 days ago. And comes courtesy Hop Butcher. So there you go. I like that. It's a nice little label on there. So you're talking about kind of like just looks like a traditional kind of Oktoberfest. That's my guess is what it's going to be like. So we'll see what, or Oktoberfest beer is kind of what it looks like. But we'll see what's what. It's a bit hazier than what you'd expect when it comes to a beer like that. Label-wise, like I said, Jets is the man. And beer-wise, yeah, it's got a soft haze to it. It's unfiltered kind of lager vibes. Almost 2 index fingers of like a khaki colored head. It's actually quite a colorful head when you actually take a peek at it compared to a lot of other kind of fest beers. And yeah, it's got almost like this hazy kind of pale ale kind of vibe to it. But, you know, head's dissipating pretty quickly. Got that nice, rich kind of hazy straw color to it. Let's see if we can get a nose. I mean, soft lager vibes, a little bit of bittering, a little bit of kind of sweetness, but the sweetness isn't just grainy sweetness. It's almost like a little bit of weedy or even like oat kind of sweetness, and done and done. Smells really nice. Nothing as far as off flavors. Soft little sweetness definitely comes off as kind of like a October-ish kind of fest beery kind of vibe to it. That head is creepily dissipating though. I wonder why. Could be this one. I washed this glass kind of poopily. Who knows? But yeah, smells nice. Looks nice. Let's see if it tastes nice. Cheers. I like this. There's something in here I'm not quite picking up on, or I'm not really just dialing in on. This is very fruity and slightly spicy. This comes off more like almost like a saison kind of yeast as opposed to a lager yeast. Is that what Wallonian Oktoberfest lager? Is it a specific kind of yeast? Because it has that kind of soft little bittering you expect from kind of like an Oktoberfest or a fest beer. Nothing too crazy. Nice kind of purposeful bittering, but nothing overly aggressive. A nice kind of soft sweetness to it. Maybe that little bit of graininess that I got in the nose that was actually more of a yeast ester than something than actual like a grain kind of component. Because when I actually drink this, there is something kind of neat and different about the actual yeast profile here. Like I said, it's almost like a cold ferment saison. It's got a really nice kind of soft melon, fruity with a slight peppery kind of vibe to it. Again, that could be hops too at play, but I believe this is a lot of malt drivenness here. Both are probably in play here as far as what's pushing what. It just comes off as a really cool, really fun kind of funky beer. It's probably one of the more interesting kind of Oktoberfest lagers that I've had as of late, and it really does drink like one. I mean, I drink this and I think of kind of an Oktoberfest / fest beer, but when you add that added kind of twist of that hop and the way those kind of hops come off in combination with the way that cool kind of yeast kind of changes things, I think this is actually pretty amazingly, fantastically different in a very tasty way. It's probably one of the cooler beers I've had, especially collab-wise when it comes to Hop Butcher stuff. You know, hazies galore, a bunch of stouts here and there, stuff like that, milkshake IPAs, yada, yada, yada. They do lagers, and they do them quite well, and I've always enjoyed them. But I've enjoyed their lagers in a more traditional sense, that they kind of skew very, very traditional lagers do. This is something a little bit kind of outside of the box in a very fun way, in a very Hop Butchery way. Not to diminish Iswas's kind of influence on a beer, but whenever it comes in these kind of labels where you can tell it actually is the Hop Butcher side of things, It's probably more them than is was. That's my kind of assumption, but yeah, I think this is very tasty. It's a fest beer through and through. It definitely reminds me of such, but when you get down in it with the way it's hopped and the way the hops kind of work with this really, really, really cool kind of yeast flavor and phenolic, it's just absolutely fantastic beer. Yeah. It's like a peppery spiciness, nice kind of melon component in there, and you get that bittering from the hops. A nice purposeful malty base to it, but kind of lets that yeast and those hops kind of do their thing. I think it's pretty fantastic. This is one of the better Oktoberfest beers, lagers. Sure, let's put them both together. Actually, it is. It's probably getting up there, maybe Mount Rushmore status. To be honest with you, definitely one of the more interesting beers I've had as of late, and just that combination alone makes me like it. So it's an absolutely fantastic beer. I wish I had more of it. I think I only got one can of these. Sometimes they send like randomly, they'll send like 4 of one can. I wish this was one of those times when I had 4 of these because I could drink the crap out of this. Value availability in this, I have no idea. It's a collab, but it's a lager, but it's kind of interesting. Hopefully it's not super expensive. You give me this to me at sub 15, I'm a happy camper. And leave you with, if you like what we like this beer. If you like traditional, German, Austrian kind of Oktoberfest beers, but you want a cool Americanized spin on it, which is kind of funny because the hops are definitely not American, and that Wallonian thing, if that's a yeast, it's not American. So that spin, this kind of twist on it itself, that's the American portion of the show. If you like a little bit of fuckduggery in your lagers, you will dig this. So there we go. Reviewing the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you've had this, please let me know. I'd love to know your thoughts. Massive Beers, if you want to check me out in the social media stuff. I post stuff on social media. How about that? Beer Massive, podcasting stuff. I talk to people on podcasts, like Jeremiah and Jude. A couple times that's happened. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully you're enjoying a little hot butcher right now. Hope we'll see you next time. Cheers.